Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock was back in Washington Wednesday after winning re-election in the high-stakes Georgia Senate runoff. In the contest Tuesday, the incumbent Democrat beat his Republican challenger, Herschel Walker, by almost 3 percentage points. It means Democrats will have 51 seats in the Senate come January. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer greeted Warnock on the steps of the Capitol. And at a press conference earlier in the day, the top Democrat celebrated taking another Senate seat.
They say all good things come to those who wait, and this outcome is absolutely worth the wait. After 1 year, 10 months, and 17 days of the longest 50-50 Senate in history, 51, a slim majority. That is great, and we are so happy about it.
For more on this story, I'm joined by Sabrina Rodriguez. She joins me. She is a national politics reporter at The Washington Post. Sabrina, Warnock's campaign's been pretty open about how they courted moderate voters in Georgia. Stacey Abrams ran a different kind of race when she ran for governor in that state. So what did that look like in Georgia, his pitch to moderates? And are any Democrats outside of that race taking this as a lesson for future strategy?
Oh, we've seen Democrats really, proud and touting in the final days of the runoff and today especially that Warnock's strategy is the framework that we need to see Democrats in battleground states putting forth in the future. The Warnock campaign did not shy away from trying to court independents, more moderate Democrats, and Republicans. The reality was that, heading into the runoff, Herschel Walker, the GOP challenger, was the only Republican to not win on the statewide ticket in Georgia. So they saw a big opening there where they could, message to them and saying, it's okay that you supported the Republican Governor Brian Kemp, but really the person who's going to represent your values and the person that's going to represent you the best in the Senate is a Democrat in this case, just because the candidate that has been put forth for the Senate is not fit. So they were saying, it's not about the values, but it's just about who is qualified to be a senator at this time.
An extraordinary thing in our times of heightened partisanship. I want to ask you about suburban voters. They've abandoned, in 2016, they abandoned Donald Trump wholesale, and that's one reason Joe Biden won. These suburban voters seem to have not come back in several of these, to the Republican Party, for whom they traditionally vote. Doesn't look like they've come back, and this is one of the races where that was also the case with those suburban voters. Why do we think that is?
Part of it was the influence that we've seen from former President Donald Trump. Republicans in Georgia very much wanted him to stay away from this race. He didn't come to Georgia throughout, the general election campaigning or throughout the runoff campaigning, but he still continued to have a presence. The reality is that, the GOP candidate Walker was handpicked by Trump. We knew that for, the past year of his running. And Trump announced that he was running again for his 2024 bid in the middle of this run-in campaign. Many people had told him to stay away from that it was going to overshadow the race, that it was going to tie Walker much more to the former president, but he didn't. He went ahead and did that. And Democrats definitely seized on that of saying, in 2024, look at the big picture. This isn't just about one candidate and one race, but this is about, do you want to see former President Trump in office again? And if you look at what the votes tell you, it's people were not thrilled at Trump's involvement in this race.
I wonder what your reporting told you in terms of this race about how Republicans see Donald Trump, because as you mentioned, Walker was his handpicked candidate. His handpicked candidate in the Republican gubernatorial primary got trounced by almost 50 points. So Republicans in Georgia are not fans of Donald Trump. What did you pick up in terms of that? And is there any larger message about his future as a possible nominee in 24 in terms of Republicans feeling about him?
Well, one of the biggest takeaways that we have today from Republicans in Georgia and Republicans nationally is many people are blaming the loss that Republicans have in Georgia on Trump. There is a question around if he is the future of the party or if they need to be looking away. That was already a conversation that was happening after the general election because many of the candidates that he, endorsed throughout the general election lost. But this was kind of that final seal that, this kind of sealed the deal for Trump and in Republicans' minds of saying, we have a problem here. They came into this election cycle extremely confident. We obviously all talked very much about whether there would be a red wave or not. And we saw that that didn't come to fruition. And many people are blaming in Georgia and nationally Trump for that not coming to fruition.
All right, Sabrina Rodriguez, thank you so much for being with us.